She wanted permission to move into the doll so she could be with us forever. We said yes, and that's when it became stronger.
Okay, so welcome to a special edition of Down to Watch, where we're going to call this one Movie Pass Minutes.
Movie Pass Minutes.
Yes, Movie Pass Minutes, because Dan and I have recently obtained some movie passes.
Movie Pass!
If you guys are not familiar with this lovely little program, it's basically you sign up for $10 a month, get yourself a nice shiny card, and you can go see as many, like a movie a day for that $10 a month.
For a month.
For a month, yes. So, like, basically as many movies as you can fit. 30 movies, 30 to 31 movies a month. So, yeah, so this is going to up our movie theater game.
Way.
way.
We moved next to an AMC Lowe's.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this you can use it in like 4,000 different movie theaters nationwide. So, it's not like it's just going to be like one rinky-dink movie theater in your town that's only showing 2 movies every 2 weeks. So,
right.
You got options.
It's amazing. It's a good way to, I think, get butts in seats.
Exactly.
For the theater. We've been doing matinees, and frankly, if we weren't there,
oh yeah,
there would be nobody there.
There would have been like 3 other people in the theater.
Right. And we totally bought popcorn and soda pop. Or
exactly.
Actually, we didn't get soda. We got vitamin water.
Yes, because that's a new option now in the drink kiosk,
Which is way better for your health.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Me too.
So you know, the movie theaters, they're not really making any money right now because A, Hollywood is churning out a lot of crap. And B, shit's expensive, yo.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine, like, if you had like a full-on family of like 4 people trying to go to a movie.
And let's face it, people just aren't quite as well-mannered as they were back in the 80s. And which is not saying much, because in the 80s they were pretty obnoxious, but at least they kept to themselves. Nobody had to do an open carry to go to Walmart.
Exactly.
Not that they have to now, but it's just something they do.
Right.
So people. But we do enjoy watching things on the big screen, and definitely, there's a big difference between the group experience versus just watching it at home. And when it comes to scary movies,
yes,
and I think certain action flicks or sci-fi films, then the big screen is definitely where it's at, and the shared collective experience is kind of where it's at.
Totally.
So thankfully there were 3 other people, if you don't count the child.
Who was under 4. Absolutely under 4 years old.
Seemed to be handling it. I mean, she had questions throughout the, is that the monster? Why did the monster push the girl?
She had a lot of the same questions we all had.
Right, but we chose to keep them to ourselves because we're not children. I'm not mad at the child.
No. I'm mad at the parents for bringing her.
But so there's one last important thing about the Movie Pass card is it's red and shiny.
It looks like a credit card.
Yes, but it's not. All right, so that said, we could maybe move on to the movie?
Yeah. So,
all right, spoiler alert?
We'll try not to spoil too much. Because
I am going to give a spoiler alert because I know myself enough to know that I can't do
there might be spoilers. Yeah. But we're calling this Movie Pass Minutes because A, we used our Movie Pass to see this. B, we just now saw it, and it's not going to be a long full hour episode of this. It's going to be like, So buckle in, kids, because we are going to do... We went to see Annabelle Creation. Directed by David F. Sandberg and written by Gary Dauberman. Starring Anthony LaPaglia. Woohoo. You may know him as Joe from Empire Records. Miranda Otto. She's been in a lot of things. Samara Lee and a bunch of other little kids and stuff. Lulu Wilson and Talitha Ileana Bateman.
And those two played friends, Linda and Janice.
Yeah.
And so the story is really kind of about these two. I mean, it's about this horrible thing from hell.
Right. Yeah, it's part of the whole Conjuring world.
These were our heroes, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh, and let's not. Like to give a shout out to Stephanie Sigmund, who played Sister Charlotte.
Hottest nun I've ever seen. Way hot. I was like, that nun is too hot.
Yeah, there's no way she would have. No. So yeah. So basically, the storyline is, this is supposed to be Annabelle's creation story. If you guys are at all familiar with that creepy ass doll that showed up in the first Conjuring movie, and she had her own spinoff called Annabelle film, and so it's supposed to be her creation story. I think it's set like in the 40s.
Yeah, I think so. The 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
Because I think the movie opens in 1946 when she's alive, and then 12 years later is 1958.
Gotcha.
And that's when, I guess, every 12 years... There's a 12-year trigger with this thing, apparently.
Yeah,
that
why
they would
12
lead
years?
us to believe.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I didn't see Annabelle.
Okay.
I did see The Conjuring, though.
Right, you saw both of those.
Yes, but I didn't see Annabelle. I know this doll from being a creepy-ass doll in that couple's house.
Yeah.
What are their names from
I don't remember.
From Conjuring? John?
The actors are Vera Farmiga and Patrick. Nope. Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson, yes. And they're great. In any event, that's all I know, because those two play like these expert paranormal capturers or something, and they have like a room in their house that's super creepy, full of super creepy things that they've collected over the years from hell, and this doll is one of them, and this doll is just creepy looking, and the opening scenes are great, though. The opening scene is the making of this doll. Mr. Mullins is a doll maker.
Anthony LaPaglia.
Apparently killing it in the doll market, because his house is huge. He's got this nice lot. It's like,
He's got people like stopping him at church like, when's your next batch of dolls coming out?
Those dolls are hot, man. I need them.
They're fire.
I'm gonna go crazy without them dolls.
And he's like, oh, calm down, friends, calm down.
Yeah.
And like apparently Annabelle, though, she was a limited edition, so she was one of 100.
Right.
So which leads me to believe like maybe she's not as as possessed as we want to believe. Like maybe somebody just got all 100 of them and they're like popping them around all over the place. I'm trying to believe like it's not just this one doll.
I mean, there's room. There's room to grow here. Well, let me ask you this, as somebody who has seen every movie in the franchise: did this franchise need another movie?
No.
Like, did it need to be reset? No. Are they coming out with something and this was just like a warmer up, or was it just because the same guy that wrote this rewrote it and he's just in the studio? They're like, while you're here, man, could you just make a couple more movies? He's like, well, what the hell am I gonna make? I'm busy as hell with the It. Did you see the scary ass clown? Did you see Pennywise? And they're like, yeah, man, that was scary, but
What do you think about dolls?
Yeah. Apparently you've got a thing about dolls. We'll give you as many little girls to scare as you want, because apparently that's what this guy's hallmark is.
Yeah, so that's another thing that bothers me about this lore, this world, this universe of The Conjuring, is that it's all the victims are little girls. So, if you recall in the first Conjuring, and then there was the house of like 18 children or something like that, and they're all girls. And then when at the beginning of that, when we're talking about Annabelle, at the beginning of The Conjuring, it started off apparently to them like the paranormal experts got it because from a house full of nursing students, female. And then in Annabelle, it was another house with a daughter, and then we got this one with a house full of orphan girls. So, to answer your question, though, no, it didn't need to be told again. Actually, I think we could have just left it alone at The Conjuring.
I wonder if there's some studio exec formula where they're like, we need to scare little girls because women represent X dollars in the horror genre ticket buying market. Because I think
that's a big number.
Yeah, I bet women drive the horror genre.
I think so.
In terms of what they're trying to make, and so they're just trying to get you because that little girl that was actually in the theater with us could have been 3 tops. She handled it like a pro. She only had questions. She wasn't scared about anything.
She didn't scream. She didn't cry. why.
She just was like, okay, I'm just trying to piece this together now. And she had a little doll with her too, right? I was like, maybe this little girl just hates dolls. And her parents were like, that's cool, we're going to take her to see Annabelle and show her that not everybody needs to love dolls. So I'm trying to figure out the back. I was more interested in the story of how that little girl got into the theater than I was what was happening on the screen. And that's, I'm sorry to say, there was a few times in this movie where I was like, give me the Dave Chappelle wrap it up sign. Wrap it up.
It's an hour and 49 minutes, and it did not need to be. It could have been like an hour and 20 minutes maybe.
That was nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hour and 20 is good.
Yeah.
They could have been 79 minutes.
That's basically an hour and 20 minutes. That's an hour and 19 minutes.
I don't do math.
So anyway, it was a little long, but I did get scared.
Yeah, definitely got scared.
It had some really, some great jump scare moments, as well as just some like creepy, like this franchise is really good at putting something in the background.
Yes.
While you're like really focused on whoever's face is filling up the screen, they'll put something extra creepy in the background, and you have to pay attention.
And it makes you look, and you're really studying what's on the screen, which is, again, kudos to them. Did a great job, made a great movie, great directing, all that stuff. It really could have been tightened up a lot. And move the story along a little faster. Right,
but you were right when you mentioned that they don't actually show the quote creation of Annabelle.
Right.
Like they tell us
you about it.
But it would have been a tighter movie if they had done it, if they had just shown us what they did. Like show don't tell.
Right, exactly. Show don't tell. Yeah, so for that I was kind of a little disappointed because I thought I was going to see more of how they got the demon into the doll. And instead they just kind of told us that it happened. And it's really the story of Annabelle's first attack outside of the family that made her.
Right.
Right? Because Mrs. Mullins apparently got it bad.
She got it rough.
From the demon they invited to live in their doll. Who knew a lot about their daughter, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, so that's also a thing. So is this like, was the demon watching them all along? Like watching the...
Well, I'm trying to remember. Is this the same franchise where you go to the other side?
No, that's also Patrick Wilson, but...
Okay, that's
not confused. The same, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, never mind. Either way, then, this demon, clearly wasn't the little girl, but knew a lot about the little girl, knew enough to know how she played hide and seek with her dad. Yeah. And coming back from the dead, right? They pulled a good trick on these two, the Mullinses, who are praying to whatever god.
Yeah.
And it would have been also maybe interesting if they had shown some of the reference materials or something like that. Just something about the background of how they got
actual demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to bring priests and the church into this horror film,
right?
Like maybe give them you kind of expect them to have the answers,
right?
As to,
or
what
at least,
the backstory.
Yeah, push that narrative forward or something. And all they were there to do apparently was drop off and pick up children. Babysit.
Which I still don't understand how that even happened. Like, how did their house get chosen to be an orphanage?
Well,
how do you get there? How does that happen?
They should have explained it a little better. They tried. They're like, remember when we used to hang out in the orphanage? They should have said, remember how we used to hang out in the orphanage before the health department shut it down and we all had to be dispersed or something, right. They could have hit that note. So
in one line.
In many ways, the movie kind of failed in terms of establishing a world that wasn't distracting. Like the place of the story should, unless it's supposed to be distracting and supposed to be a part of the story, like the place is a character in the story.
Right.
The place here just was like a half-done stage drop. It wasn't convincing. You know what I mean? Like they missed out on all these major details, like why the orphanage was shut down and they all had to get dispersed. How the demon got into the
house in the first place.
Yeah. How was he making so much damn money? Because there's no way in hell anybody, no matter how great a doll maker you are living in this house. It was ridiculous. Maybe it was a family house. Maybe somebody made a deal with the devil and got rich. Something, something to tie it in. Anyway, so the world was just laid flat in that regard. And then, like, the nun didn't need to be there. The priest didn't need to be the one that drove them to and from. They could have made those roles necessary. Mm-hmm. And then unless they're just like, we need a really hot chick in here. All the other women are either little girls or disfigured. We're like, oh, we'll get a hot nun. Throw a hot nun in there from the orphanage. Yeah, hot nun, that'll work. So that seemed kind of obvious. And then when the nun goes to save the little girl, Janice, which is the best line in the whole movie.
There is like a straight up fucking... She sacrificed her.
There's been many times where danger is happening and the nun's just standing there. Or the nun and Janice are just standing there. Like, a monster pops out of a scary hole and they're outside and the nun's like, what is that?
Yeah.
Janice screams, who cares? Run! That was the best line in the whole movie. And then there's another time it happened inside the house. Like, the whole house is shaken. There's this demon hell thing about to burst through the door that you had to blockade. Right? Because you know it's trying to burst through the door. And then you just stand there to watch everything fall off the shelves. Like, if the director just wanted to show us stuff falling off the shelves and tabletops, they still could have left the room.
Exactly.
And then this is what's going on in the room, right? But no, it's just them standing in the room for like a good solid minute or two when anybody else in the world would have run.
They're just,
It distracted me.
That is, pulled you out of the...
It's like, go already. Go. Come on, give me the Dave Chappelle thing. Wrap it up.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I guess that's pretty much...
Out of 5, what do you give it?
I give it a 4, just because I was legitimate. It did legitimately scare me. Because it's scared. You go to a horror film to be scared. At least I do. You don't really expect that. It's great if it has a super fantastic, awesome plot and story that goes along with it, like Get Out.
Right.
But I don't really expect that to happen all the time.
Okay, so you have low standards for horror.
Yeah.
Okay. So I give it like I was going to say 3 to be generous, but 2.5 is what I feel like it earned.
That's fair.
I
mean, if you're into the franchise,
if you're into the
franchise, totally go for it. I saw Annabelle. I don't remember much from it.
I think if you're not part of the franchise like me, maybe it doesn't work as a standalone movie. Because there's things at the end too that I was just like, who the hell are these people?
Right? Yeah,
Why do I care about this?
Yeah, there is an end thing, and I kind of feel like we're gonna have to go watch Annabelle.
Right, that's what now. I have to do now.
Right.
Thank you very much. So that was the whole point, was to give your audience homework.
So if you've seen the other The Conjuring and Annabelle, then by all means go and see Annabelle Creation. If you're just looking for just like, several jump scares and like a little bit of creepy on the side, then this is also good for that.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. Had I not had my movie pass, had I paid actual dollars for this, I would have been a little more
salty.
Yeah, I would have been a little salty.
Thank you, Movie Pass, for helping us enjoy B-rate movies.
Exactly.
Way to go! Hey, it's a marriage made in heaven. You guys should thank Movie Pass.
Exactly. So
we are
right.
And we're not below sponsorship.
No. So, but if you'd like to, Movie Pass, if you're listening,
and Vitamin Water,
we could totally we would totally be willing to be sponsored. Also, though, Bechdel test, did it?
Yes, it passed the Bechdel test. Totally passed.
Because like 90% of the main cast were women, and the demon was a woman. The doll was
right.
So yeah,
and they weren't all talking about a man, at all.
Exactly.
Totally awesome. So okay, well now I give it a solid 3.
All right, excellent.
Thank you for making me realize the Bechdel test applies. Because in most horror movies, no, that's not it. The women just serve to be sinners, to be killed off.
Exactly.
So that we don't feel bad about it. And so there's some free nipples. Freed from, the confines of Puritan ethics.
Yes. All right. So, that pretty much do it for our review?
Yeah, if you're going to go see this with a 4-year-old, there was no nudity. There was no sex. It was just...
There was barely any cursing either.
And there's barely any gore.
True.
It was just kind of scary and suspenseful. It made you jump a lot without resorting. It wasn't like blood porn like Saw or something like that. It was a good, solid, scary movie because of the way the shots were set up.
And it is rated R.
Yeah, because it was scary. So there you have it. It's a good, clean scare.
Yep. So I don't know if there's going to be another one like the creation of Annabelle.
There better be.
Another one.
There better be. I'm doing my homework. You guys do yours.
Like what the actual demon is.
Yeah, I want to see this franchise open in 600 BC with the old gods.
All right. I think that's that for now. Until next time, thanks for listening.
You gotta go full Ash of the Evil Dead or don't go at all.